this year, 2 Kuki Zomi women were paraded naked, groped at by monsters in the garb of men. This brutality unfolded just 35 kilometers away from Manipur state capital Imphal in the Kangpokpi district. That's not all. One of the young women, all of 21, was also gang raped by this very mob. And when her 19-year-old brother tried to intervene in order to save his sister, he was killed in broad daylight. And all of this happened while their family of 5 was being escorted away to safety by the police. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. A gang rape and a murder. All this while the defenders of law and order were very much present. And yet, we have a mob of 1,000 running amok. This is a chilling account of what has been allowed to happen in Manipur under the watch of both the central and the state governments, who were seemingly unmoved by the Manipur crisis and are probably only forced to respond after this saga of brutality against hapless women has made it out of Manipur. It is unfortunate that I say forced, because after the online outrage to the now viral video of the Manipur horror, we have had the State Chief Minister, Mr. Biren Singh, who says that he only got to know about the incident through Twitter. This despite an FIR being lodged on the 18th of May and no arrest of any of the clearly visible faces happening for 2 months. And almost immediately after the video going viral, an arrest happens. Some are also alleging that the superintendent of police of the area is from the dominant Meitei community, and that probably led to the burying of the news. Also, the Prime Minister did finally come out to condemn the heinous act after months of deafening silence over Manipur. But then he went on to equate it with instances of violence in the Congress-ruled states like Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. What we saw emerging out of Manipur 77 days after the horrific incident happened was blood-curdling, to say the least. It is reprehensible and has sparked an outrage only after it could make its way out despite the internet gag order in the state. Nothing justifies this depravity. And to borrow the words of the Honorable Chief Justice of India, women being used as an instrument of conflict and retribution must stop. And that's what we will do, ladies and gentlemen, because women's bodies are no battlefields.
मणिपुर की जो घटना सामने आई है, किसी भी सभ्य समाज के लिए ये शर्मसार करने वाली घटना है। और मैं देशवासियों को विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं, किसी भी गुनहगार को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा।
The state government will not keep silent. The state government will not keep silent. Immediately after seeing the video, I asked to have mass combing operation where the suspected areas.
We want a discussion here on Manipur. We want a discussion, and the Prime Minister has to open his mouth. Manipur. How can you open it? How is the Prime Minister of India?
आज मणिपुर में आग लगी हुई है, क्यों सुनाई नहीं देती उन लोगों की आवाज? क्या उनकी कोई हक नहीं है संविधान का दिया हुआ?
What is happening in Manipur is undescribable. Will the Chief Minister of Manipur do justice? No.
क्या मजाक हो रहा है? पहले तो 77 दिन पुरानी घटना सरकार को एक वीडियो जब एक सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पे जारी किया जाता है तब मालूम पड़ता है, तो सरकार उन दरिंदों के खिलाफ एक्शन लेने की बजाय ट्विटर के खिलाफ एक्शन लेती है।
मोदी जी अपनी चुप्पी तोड़े, देश की जनता को आकर पार्लियामेंट के माध्यम से जवाब दें कि आज 2 महीने से ऊपर हो चुका है, मणिपुर में किसी तरीके की अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं है। आज तक देश की महिला मंत्री स्मृति ईरानी ने इस पर कोई बयान नहीं दिया है।
Now, before I open this up before an August panel that I have with me this evening, let me also take you through an important voice. Earlier this evening, I spoke to actor and a prominent Manipuri voice, Lin Laishram. Here's what she had to say about the Manipur horror.
I'd like your reaction to what really has unfolded in Manipur and has only come out after 77 days. 2 women paraded naked and possibly one of them gang raped.
It is completely shattering to see how low can we go. Doesn't matter what community, regardless of the community we belong to. But this is the lowest of low that a man can go. This act of violence, crime that they have done against women is not acceptable.
Lynn, I understand that there has been a lot of protest in Manipur. It is your state. There are members of the Meitei community, members of the Kuki community, both sparring against one another after the High Court order. But this is not what Manipurites or Manipuris really need at this hour. What is your message as a prominent member of the state to the people who are not just perpetrators of the violence, but people in general? What, as a Manipuri, are you expecting from the government?
I feel our government, both central and state, has failed us, the commoners, the people of Manipur. The governments have failed us completely. It's a failure of governance, and hence it has led to this kind of atrocities that people are going through, doing violence against each other. So we waited out for this long to happen. Why? Why did we take so long? More than 2 months to react to and get to a point where women are getting killed, raped. Why do we even need to reach this point when it could have controlled right at the moment when it happened? We did not, they did not, they could have handled it so well. It's not a very big state, the population is not so high that they can't control it. If the government wants, they can do it immediately. But they took so long. Why? My question to the government is, why did they take so long and such a heinous crime to happen for them to come up, wake up from this slumber and have to come out and talk? Why? They were quiet all this while. The entire मीडिया से लेके गवर्नमेंट से लेके सब कोई चुप थे. Why do we need to have to reach a point where you have to come out and speak like this?
And do you think the government is only the government is only being forced to respond after this online outrage, after this Twitter outrage?
Yes, and it's not happened yesterday. It has happened many months ago. It has happened way before, and we got to know now. And abhi to ban, and the internet has been banned for more than 70 days. Imagine what all are we going to see, witness, when the internet finally they lift the ban. What are we going to see? What are we going to, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm ashamed that I belong to a state like this, and I am ashamed to be a part of this whole thing.
We understand your emotions, Lynn. Yeah.
And it's not fair. It's not fair for people who are living there. I don't live there anymore. I have a home there. But the thing is, people who are going through, each one of them, it's not right what's going on there.
Lynn, had it been left to the members of the Meitei community and the Kuki community who were right now so far living in unison, do you think this sort of a heinous act would have happened in a calm state like Manipur? Do you think because of the friction and the friction points that have always been there, do you think it would have happened unless and until this order probably had come out of the High Court?
No, man. You know why? When people are triggered to do something like this, you have to be really cold-blooded. You have to be really full of hate to do something like this. It's appalling. You don't need, you're not going to start raping women unless you're full of hate inside of you. But why do we need that? I don't think any Manipuri, regardless of their community, would have done this, But it has led to this kind of hatred where they don't feel anything. They're numb.
And who are the perpetrators?
Let me now open this to my panel of very, very important voices, women voices who have joined us this evening. Sonal Mansingh, Rajya Sabha MP and Padma Bhushan awardee, is with us on the broadcast. Patricia Mukham, who is also a Padma Shri awardee and social activist, writer and journalist, joins us this evening. Also joining me is Lalita Kumaramangalam, former NCW chief. Also with me here in the studio is Ms. Nirmal Kaur, who is the IPS and former DGP of Jharkhand. And last but not the least, Shaina NC of the BJP is also with us. Ms. Sonal Mansingh, I'll be beginning this with you. I'd like to understand that what has come to light is this is a revenge rape, a revenge sort of a violence that has happened in Manipur. Do you see that becoming a template, considering there have been instances like this in other states, and now what has finally come to light out of Manipur? What do you have to say about it, really, over a fake video that went sort of viral? It has been misinterpreted, and now this has been unleashed as violence on women.
It's been happening, as you yourself have pointed out, but nothing that has happened or is happening elsewhere can be justified. The minute we take a stand like that, yeah, it's happening everywhere, so that is not justifiable. Second thing is that although I'm speaking on media to you, I do feel that so many media persons were in Manipur for the past few weeks, and that such a thing could not be ferreted out. Did no one speak about it to any media person? This is something very, very frightening again, and very strange, because media people were, I think, almost in Churachandrapur and Imphal and all the places.
Yeah.
So this is something also to be thought about, that how come such a thing remained hidden for so long, so many weeks. And if this can remain hidden, then what else would have remained hidden in all these weeks? And this defies imagination. But all said and done, I am with our Prime Minister, who says, Shakti aur Sakhti ke saath, iske saath deal kiya jayega. And nothing that the utmost punishments to be meted out, of course, as they say, rule of law will prevail. But the rule of law will go till the last person and the last point. As I said earlier also, and to some other friends, and I have my friends in Manipur, I have Manipuri friends here in Delhi, and I said, on behalf of all the women of India, I beg pardon and I apologize. What can one say? Words fail me. But I do feel that the beauty of the culture of Manipur, they are very, very culturally, very, very enlightened. I've been there several times, and I don't know what has come over. There's a whole blanket of violence, misunderstandings. I mean, as you said, the lady said that people have become numb. And this is something very sad but very frightening. It's very scary. It's very, very scary. Because numb people can do anything, can go to any extent, as we have seen. Nothing justifies that other places are also happening.
Yes.
Har roz ho raha hai. No.
Absolutely.
It should not happen. We hang our heads in shame.
Shaina, that's an important point that Ms. Sonal Mansingh has made about the internet gag order. Do you think that went against the state and the central government? And I am not making it political. I only want to understand that what was happening in the state of Manipur was against the people of Manipur, and it required to have come out in the media so that that reportage would have been strong for such violence to not have happened. Don't you think that internet stopping, or probably the culmination there, a gag order, should not have happened out of a state which was in so much of turmoil?
First, I want to say, as a woman in this country, and as all the panelists are women, and I think this is a meaningful debate, I'm not going to trivialize it at all with petty politics. What our Prime Minister said today has shaken everyone, because he speaks from the heart, and he talks about dignity of women. And the Manipur horror video has made us all hang our heads in shame.
Yeah.
to be groped, to be gang raped, and to be stripped naked. This kind of a dastardly act needs to be condemned in totality, and that it has been from every quarter.
Yeah.
Having said that, our Home Minister did go himself to Manipur to take cognizance of the situation, to ensure that a law and order situation did not break out after the action. The anger that one saw on the streets was absolutely apparent. And of course, one has to also contain law and order when it comes to a situation such as this. Has India ever seen these kind of women being paraded naked? I mean, it's something that makes you ponder. It makes me ponder about the incident in Alwar too, where a woman was gang raped in front of her husband. And it makes me ponder too about the stray incidents that have happened in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Manipur, etc. Forget which government rules in each of these states. Forget where this has happened. This is a fact that we have a male perverted mindset, and the guilty culprits have been arrested as we speak last night. Now you question that this incident happened earlier.
But China, you are saying guilty people have been arrested. There has been one arrest that happened the moment this entire video went viral. What was the police, the law and order machinery really doing in the state for 2 months? It's only after the online outrage that we see the arrest happening, and now we have a picture of the perpetrator who we are putting out.
I knew you would question such. And I don't want to address this as a question. I want to talk about the larger societal problem. If you have a male misogynistic mindset where you have perverts such as this, who believe that they can get away scot-free, not at all, because the Prime Minister, as he has said, Shakti ke saath aur Sakti ke saath, hum dekhenge, where we need to have a death punishment for these perpetrators is only one part of this debate. The second is, how do we get rid of these kind of mindsets that believe that they can take law into their hands and get away scot-free? So yes, should there be fear of law? I'm sure the Prime Minister will do nothing less than make sure justice is given out and is befitting. You question the timing. I want to say, if wrong culprits are booked, then it would be a disservice. If the right culprits are booked, you don't have to view this as what the timing is, but you have to view it as justice being given out. And as far as we as a society go, what has this Manipur incident actually shown? It shows us there is a larger societal lacuna which needs to be addressed in totality. And if India's conscience is truly shaken, we must do away with this retarded mindset where we believe that men can get away scot-free. They can't. There has to be a death penalty, and there will be, because I believe that our leadership speaks by, with the political will to give brute force and answer through brute punishment.
Okay, I will come back to this timing point that you have mentioned, Shaina, but let me now bring in Patricia Mukim also in. Patricia, there are gun battles that are waging out of Manipur, and nothing has been done to stop it so far. Does it speak about the state machinery, also the machinery at the center, failing miserably? Or, as there are allegations that are being made that there are severe attempts that are being made to drive out tribals from out of the state? What is your view on this?
See, first of all, I do not want to politicize this issue and say this government has done this and that government has done that. The point here is that the rule of law had collapsed. Right from about a week after the incident of 3rd May, there was no rule of law. The police were compromised, the arms were looted, and all that the Chief Minister could say is, please return those arms and we will not take action. Think about it. And there are arms aplenty floating around in Manipur, which is why you have this culture of violence. Why, how, and why did where did these arms come from? I think we need to question this. And why does it take an outrage of this nature for you to call us and debate this on television? Because we have been saying the violence is ongoing, but the media had all but forgotten Manipur, especially the so-called national media. So the problem again is to ask, why has the rule of law collapsed? And you have about 60,000 uniformed personnel from the security forces, army and all that. And yet they were unable to contain the violence because you have what you call the Mera Paibis, the women's groups that come out and prevent the army or the paramilitary from arresting militants who have been, they've been wreaking violence. And when they're about to be arrested, the women are shielding them and saying, no, these are our defenders. So you have drawn a very, very straight line of differences between the hills and the valley. And it seems to me that, this is a point of no return. Okay. Because there's so much of displacement of the hill tribes, the Kukis and the Kuki Zo people. They are in Meghalaya, they are in Mizoram, they are all over. And it seems to me that this is a targeted ethnic cleansing, so that, perhaps the people from the valley will then get to go and settle in the hills. I'm not very sure, but okay. The question is, why has it been allowed to sink to this low? And that incident that surfaced only yesterday, yes, it has shaken the consciousness of the nation, but why did it take so long for anyone to be arrested? To say that if we arrest the wrong person, this will happen. No, that is wrong. The only reason why this person was arrested because of the outrage that surfaced since yesterday. Many women across who I have spoken to have said that we just could not even sleep at the, the horror of it all, the indignity of it all is just so shocking. So, and then there is this question of why the Prime Minister has remained silent for all of 77 days. It only took the Supreme Court to take cognizance of this case for the Prime Minister to speak up. This is just not done. We are part of the country. How can one part of the country suffer its lowers approbation and then only have the Prime Minister come out and speak on its behalf?
We'll talk about the Prime Minister's speech in just a bit. Let me bring in Ms. Nirmal Kaur in on this. Considering we're talking about the police action, Ms. Kaur, I'd like to understand this one thing, that this is a family of 5 that we were talking about. They were being escorted out of where the violence was being perpetrated, and the mob really took them away from the police clutches. There was a 0 FIR that was filed after 14 days of when the violence actually happened on these women. And here we are not just talking about groping or probably parading naked. There was a gang rape that happened, also a murder. What and why do you think that the Chief Minister of the state, despite all of this, is only saying now that the video is viral, that he has only got to know about it through Twitter? And what does it say about the police action?
See, the thing is, what the Prime Minister has said in Parliament today really articulates the anguish and agony of the whole nation. He's articulated the words which all of us are feeling in our hearts, and we are unable to express it. And I think across the board, across party lines, everyone's condemned such a shameful incident. And definitely Lekunai are there. But it is not that it is an overnight kind of. This video itself is more over 2 months old. Somebody was holding on to the video till the Parliament is convened. On the eve of the Parliament, session, they will release it so that it goes viral. If you have information on a crime, it should be immediately reported. Any evidence you have. Whoever had this video and made it viral yesterday, about 24 hours ago or whenever the timing was, he was waiting for this opportunity.
Saying exactly what a member of the BJP also said, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Shaina, I'll come to that point, but don't you think it is just doing away with the exact point that we're trying to actually make
what
here? If we go ahead and question that timing, and we say that, we have to also understand that there was an internet ban in the state.
Internet ban doesn't mean that, the videos managed to go viral. Internet is still banned. That means somebody was holding on and making it to get political mileage of the incident instead of seeing it as a pure and simple crime, which it is. Neither the police, nor the establishment, nor the detractors, and I think the highest is the feeling of the Chief Justice of India, the Honorable Chief Justice of India, has said that, women being used as an instrument, as a means of revenge, retribution. What is the two ethnic communities are fighting? Why should we humiliate each other as women? To make a point, we are one up over you or something. Why are women the instruments? Why should they have to bear the brunt of the anger of the communities or whatever it is that is being played out there? And this has not become, this situation has not developed overnight. In Urdu there is a couplet, Lamhon ne khata ki thi, sadiyon ne saja pai. So this has been brewing for decades and decades and decades. What have we done? The opium growing in Manipur, everyone knows. What have we done about it over the decades? How people from outside were brought, how, you know, certain restrictions were made, how the outsiders are jabardasti brought and made to settle there. It has been brewing since then. I'm not justifying this incident. I mean, my head hangs in shame along with the whole nation at this sad incident. But at the same time, it has not happened overnight. And whoever was holding on to this video for 2.5 months or something to, you know, get political mileage out of it. And I'm surely this is only tip of the iceberg. Many such incidents must have taken place. And I'm sure, I mean, I hope that they all come out and
Ms.
all
Kaur,
the
I'm afraid, I don't know, you're calling it, you know, somebody trying to actually garner political mileage out of the video. But there are also instances where the police action, of course, is being questioned.
Yes.
The superintendent of police in the area is being said is belonging to the dominant Meitei community. And that's why there was an attempt to bury the story because it doesn't look good on the police. What will you say about that?
The thing is, when we join police, we take an oath by the constitution. The way, similarly, the way all the politicians and mantris and the executive does. That whatever, I am born a Sikh, but in a communal riot, I don't have to favor the Sikhs. I have to just pick up the criminals and the miscreants and the wrongdoers. So identifying with the community, or, you know, after you become a policeman or after you become a minister or after you become a, you know, an executive position, you are the government. And the government is impartial and they can only understand one thing, which is the Constitution of India and the law of the land, which is our IPC, CRPC, Evidence Act and all the other local laws and the body of laws that is there. So, you know, to have an identity, even after I become a policeman, it is the utmost kind of, you know, I would say it's a travesty.
Okay. Lalita ji, let me bring you in here. You've been quietly listening to all the speakers on the panel. I'd like to understand this one thing. And Nimrat ji also, Nimrat ji quoted the Chief Justice of India. He said that women being used as objects of retribution in the case of ethnic violence and or in a war zone should stop. And this is coming from the Chief Justice of India, who also had to go and say that we are giving very little time to the government and the state to take some action, otherwise we will step in. What does it really say about the situation in Manipur? It is alarming, and that's why these strong statements have come from the apex body of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, firstly, I'd like to say that I join in the general condemnation of what has happened. Women should not be used as objects, full stop, in any situation.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who may be in power, may have been in power, will be in power, etc. Women should not have been used either as human shields or as objects for revenge. Whoever has done this needs to be punished as per the strongest laws of this country. Secondly, I'd like to say that I agree and I echo with what both Sonal ji and Nirmal ji said, that it is 37 days. Given the fact that somebody has taken this video, why has it come to light only now? The only thing it shows to me is that this entire issue has become too politicized, and in the politics of it, people are suffering. Who should have made what statement when? All of that is now, I mean, all of that discussion itself is now really pointless. It is a good thing that Prime Minister Modi ji has given such a strong statement today, and I welcome it. Better late than never is what everybody says. Aside from that, I think, and this is my personal opinion, not as a party person, not as ex-head of the NCW, etc.
Yeah.
We need to have a massive shift in our mental mindset in this country towards women, whether it is in times of peace or whether it is in times of conflict. Women are raped without any sort of regard for the consequences, especially for the victims of that rape. And in every case, it is heinous. There is no excuse for rape, full stop. It doesn't matter why, who, when, etc. Rape can never be accepted. Having said this, let me also say that there were the flashpoint in Manipur, as Nirmal ji said, has been in the reckoning for a very, very long time. The entire country kept quiet about it. Activists, the press, politicians, police may have sometimes raised their voice. I'm not a member of that elite force, so I can't comment in too much detail on that. But everybody just closed their eyes to what was an open secret. The drug trafficking and also human trafficking, let me add this, out of Manipur is one of the most notorious crimes that takes place every day in that state. Unfortunately, it took something as terrible as what we saw in this video today, and only after we saw it, for it to wake what we call the conscience of our nation. Sometimes I think, does this nation have a conscience towards everybody, or is it all only dependent on the politics of the day? Okay. We politicize everything, whether it's the press, whether it's the activists, whether it's the politicians, etc., etc., etc. You are asking, why didn't the police take action earlier?
Yes.
The police probably could have. I don't know. I may be wrong, but I would hazard a guess saying that oftentimes police feel their hands are tied because their political bosses may not like what they will or will not do. This happens in several cases across the country. I am sorry to be so blunt, but I don't think you can lay blame only at one door. All of us are as much to blame as the local or the central or ex-governments of that state, etc. Okay. We have slept over what was a brewing tidal wave, and today the wave has hit us. Okay. My condolences to those poor women, their families, and I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I beg the pardon of anybody who has faced this sort of horror. No
Shaina, would you like to come in here? This point that Lalita is making, Lalita ji is making, that sometimes the police hands are also tied because of their political bosses. Now we've heard several statements, one important one by the Prime Minister. However, many are also alleging that Prime Minister's silence was better than when he has actually chosen to speak about Manipur. Him speaking was worse than the silence. That is what the allegation is coming in because of him equating to the other violence instances in other states like Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. How would you respond to that?
I think our Prime Minister has always led by example. So I have full faith that when he says there will be a befitting answer, it's not just lip service, but it will happen. As you said, and as Kaurji said, I too echo this sentiment that if this video was around and if it has come out just at the time of Parliament, the timing is suspect. Having said that, does that absolve anyone of the crime? Absolutely not. Every woman, every man, every Indian hangs their head in shame when you see such horrific, women being paraded naked. Forget women and men, just society's degradation is something that makes us feel that this is the most shocking, perverted incident. So that is where we stand. Now, you asked about the Honorable Prime Minister. Yeah. The Honorable Home Minister has been to Manipur, taken cognizance of the situation. If there is a law and order situation that arises and a lot of the facts which cannot be out in the public domain, if there was distribution of arms in certain people's hands who were only interested in destabilizing the state, we have to look and give benefit of doubt to the authorities that be the people in positions where they have to take cognizance of having normalcy in society. Having said that, every single Indian is outraged at this dastardly act. Yeah. And I please say, with all humility, this is not just about Manipur, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, West Bengal. This is about women's dignity across the country. And if we don't get to the bottom of it, if we don't make sure there is fear of law and capital punishment for these people who believe they can get away scot-free, we will be doing a disservice. And what the Honorable Chief Justice of India said, Mr. Chandrachud said, is absolutely correct. And we echo that sentiment as we do in not making this a political one-upmanship of you should have done this, you should have spoken, why have they not been arrested? There is a process of law which has been always looked at with no vendetta, but at the same time, the fear of law and the political will that requires to make sure that the perpetrators are given a befitting answer and the punishment that the whole country wants them to get will happen because the Prime Minister is somebody we believe in and we believe that he will lead by example in this particular case.
Three members on this panel are of the view that the timing of this video really coming out is suspect. What are your views on that? And if we actually put that point forth, is it not diluting the actual incident and also how there was no action that was taken on it for 2 months, more than 2 months?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Sonal ji. Miss Mansingh, please.
Yeah, no, I don't think it dilutes the incident at all, the gravity of the incident. Because questions have to be asked and questions have been raised. And these questions need to be analyzed and answered. Because it is true that, you know, it happened and it was in the knowledge of a few people, and whoever held on to this video did not release it, did not show it, did not put it in the internet. Why? Because, you know, there are ways and ways and ways by which people do that surreptitiously. So hanging on to that and then creating this huge political furor, it does not dilute. I think in fact it is very important that it again re-attracts our attention that wherever this has happened, this is happening, all that needs to be taken cognizance of. The women on one side, that their bodies are not battlefield, their bodies are not in the marketplace for sale, their bodies are to be revered, not demolished, not degraded. That's a major issue. That is the issue. And around that, if you see, there is so much else. I believe, as someone on the panel also said, and I have friends in Manipur, as I mentioned earlier, that the drug trafficking, women trafficking, guns trafficking, all this has been going on. It's a very sensitive border. We know that. It's a politically volatile border. The less said about it, the better, because we don't know the inside stories. But what we know from the citizens of Manipur are a few things that is in common knowledge, in public knowledge. So what really happened to trigger this? Not this incident alone, but this whole warfare that is going on. And also, as one of my panelist colleagues said, that from where these latest armaments have come there. They are using them like, you know, the war, World War. Latest things there.
So let me bring in Patricia. Patricia, I'll let you have the last word. You have heard all the members on the panel. I'd like to understand your word on this. The fact that they are saying the timing is suspect. The other thing that still is questionable, that has not been answered, that 77 days, nothing was done about it. No reinforcement was called by the police that was very much present when this act really happened, with a mob of over 1,000 people. No answer to that. And they are questioning the timing and also what all goes on in Manipur. I'd like to understand the allegations of an attempt being made to broad sweep the Kokizo community as illegal migrants, and that's why an attempt to sweep them away out of Manipur. That is also an allegation. What is your take on that?
See, the Kukis have been here since the 1840s in where they are now. They have come there from the Chin Hills, and we know how borders are very tenuous in this region. The northeast of India shares only 1% of its border with India. The rest, 99%, is with foreign countries. And therefore, this is a sensitive region. And anything that happens here should have been taken cognizance of. In fact, if the central government had seen that the rule of law has failed, has collapsed, they should have imposed president's rule at least, so that the person who's seen as, I mean, I don't really claim this, but it has been alleged that he is part of the whole thing, part of the whole scripting of the violence. So when there is no more faith in a person who rules the state, he should have been asked to step down, and maybe president's rule would have helped in that. At least the security forces would have been able to enforce the rule of law, but that was not done, and that is highly suspect. And then, you know, women's body as the location of violence has happened in wars, but here it has happened in a civil war inside the country. So how do we answer for this? And everyone now is speaking about the timing of the video. Now there has been an internet ban for all of these 2.5 months and more. And but the internet ban has also been very selective, because in the valley, in certain government establishments, you had the internet there. And I don't think that the person who recorded this actually wanted it to go public. He wanted to show it to his handlers that this is what we have done on a particular day. So how this video has come into whose hands, this is something that needs to be investigated. And yes, the timing is suspect, but why not, if the purpose is to see that this whole 1.5 months, 2 months of violence needs to be discussed in Parliament. So be it. It just takes anything that they're hanging on to anything at all, the hill people of Manipur. And as of now, you see, they've started opening up schools and offices, and they're saying people who don't attend offices, their pay will be cut.
Okay.
Now, how do people come back into this very volatile
So you are saying that this
situation?
video was important to shake off the government's slumber. I would appreciate you joining us and also offering your views. I'd appreciate all the women who have joined me on the panel. Thank you so much for sharing all your views. Unfortunately, I've run out of time on this edition of this particular debate, but we are staying with the focus here on Manipur, and we're getting more breaking news on Viewpoint. Now, as per top government sources, they have now reacted to the opposition's allegation that the government does not want discussions on Manipur. Sources close to the government suggest that it has been informed to the Lok Sabha Speaker's office and also the Rajya Sabha Chairperson's office on the 15th of July itself that the Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, was willing to reply on any debate or discussion on Manipur. We have my colleague Payal Mehta on this, who's offering more perspective on the story. Yes, Payal.
Yes, as far as the allegations of the opposition is concerned, that the government has been sleeping and the government has been sleeping over the entire issue, top sources of the government have said that, yes, there was a written communication that was also established with the Speaker's office and also with the office of the Rajya Sabha Chairman, much ahead of the all-party meeting and much ahead of the opposition demanding it. And that communication was established, as we are told, by the Union Home Minister, Amit, saying that whatever time it suits the opposition, how many hours of discussion they really want on the issue, he was willing to answer all the questions, because remember, his is the nodal ministry. His is the ministry that is overseeing the law and order over there, along with the state government. And they are not running away from any debate or discussion. This is a suo motu step taken by the government by itself, even before the all-party meeting happened, so that the agenda could be discussed. But they have said that they were not running away from everything, and they made it amply clear that they have nothing to run away from. The facts are there for everybody to see. The Union Home Minister himself has been monitoring the situation 24/7, and there is no reason for the government to run away from any debate and discussion. That's what the sense that we have been able to get by these sources.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Payal. And on that note, we are now shifting our focus to another important interview, that of DCW Chief Swati Mallewal, who is now joining us on the broadcast. Swati, thank you so much for being a part of this important conversation. Unfortunately, we are speaking at a time when such an instance of violence on women has come out, and at least it has seen the light of the day despite that internet gag order. But we have only got to know of this after 77 days of it happening in Manipur. How does that make you feel?
I'm deeply distressed. And I'll tell you, I saw that video at night yesterday and it completely shook me. I was not able to sleep. I'm not feeling good the entire day. And the moment I'm closing my eyes, those visuals are coming in front of me, because I have never seen anything the like of what I saw. And it is so sad that Manipur has been burning for the past 3 months, and an FIR in this particular case was registered 2.5 months back, and yet no arrest had been made till now. And when the Chief Minister was asked by a media house, the Chief Minister has gone on record saying that hundreds of such cases have happened in Manipur. So how can he be expected to take cognizance of all of them? What is happening? Why there is so much silence? Why is there so much inaction? I have written a letter to the Prime Minister of the country as well as the Manipur Chief Minister, and I have 3 demands. 1, they should take urgent action. All steps need to be taken in order to curb this violence. Second, strongest action has to be taken against all these perpetrators of all these hundreds of FIRs, not just this particular case. And the third step is that I have requested the Manipur Chief Minister to allow my visit to Manipur, because I can see that nobody is going. I cannot see Union Minister of Women and Child Development Minister going there. I cannot see NCW Chairperson going there. So I have requested the Manipur Chief Minister, I am coming. Please assist me, please help me in going and meeting all these survivors, because we need to create a fact-finding report and we need to get the urgent attention of the state as well as the center on this very serious issue.
Okay, so when you speak about the Women and Child Development Minister, Ms. Smriti Irani ji, what she has said on having a word with Chief Minister Biren Singh, would you call that a mere lip service, or do you think that there is going to be some important action that is now going to be taken? And in that regard, what do you think about the Prime Minister's statement as he's finally spoken about the violence in Manipur with this news in the backdrop, that of the perpetrators unleashing this sort of violence on women?
I think it is too little and too late. You see, what is it that they've done? They've just given a few statements. As the union WCD minister, it is her role. She needs to rush to the area. You see, the chief minister of Manipur himself has said that there are hundreds of such cases. So hundreds of such survivors are suffering in silence, and nobody is going there to assess the situation, create a fact-finding report, take action, take cognizance. Maybe a high-level committee has to be set up. Who will set it up? Until they will visit that place and understand what is exactly happening on the ground. Why has the Prime Minister of the country refused to acknowledge Manipur, the burning of Manipur till now? And only now he's just made a statement about it. Why is it that he's not going to Manipur and understand? You see, Manipur is a part of our country. How can we as a society allow the most horrific of human rights violations in a state of ours? This is completely bizarre, and it's angering me so much because you see, on a daily basis we are handling cases. But believe you me, I've never seen something so horrific. I have never witnessed it. And it's just making me question myself as a woman, that I'm a woman of this country. I'm a citizen of this country. Forget about the Women Commission chairperson. As a citizen of this country, what more can I do? So I'm trying to go to Manipur, and I really appeal that all leaders should go there, see what is the situation, and all this gag has to end. You see, you can't just silence the voice. And I believe that, the center has come hard on Twitter and stated that, you should not have made this video go viral. While, it's so sad that such a horrific video has to go viral in our country in order for the first action to happen. That said, obviously the video is extremely scarring. It is scary, and I don't think I'll ever be the same again after seeing what I've seen. And I've also written on my Twitter account, I appeal to people to not to share the video, but to just come hard on an agency. It's like shooting the messenger. What action are you doing? Why is the Manipur chief minister saying that there are hundreds of cases, and how? Okay. I mean, all of this has been happening, and what can I do? I mean, of course he can do much more than that.
Okay, so Swati, since you mentioned that Twitter has been asked to take down this video that's now viral, we also understand how Twitter has been asked to, in fact, take down this video because of the gravity of the situation. This is important because many of those videos were not even blur. We on the channel have taken, a view that we should not be playing out the video even by blurring it, because the identities of the victim and also just simple respect to the victims needs to be given, and their identities need to be protected. So that's why that is important. But we also understand that this entire crime was really committed as a response to a fake video that was about a Delhi girl who was murdered by her family members and her body was put in a poly bag. And that video was circulated as a fake video, that this was a violence that was perpetrated by members of the Kuki community against a Meitei woman. So what do you have to say about fake news that is leading to these revenge killings, revenge violence, especially in a state like Manipur, which is now raked with ethnic violence?
Absolutely. Fake news of any form which leads to such horrific crimes being committed, they need to be immediately stopped, curbed. But I would like to know what action was taken when that fake video was circulated. Were those men or women, whoever they were they arrested who circulated that fake video? They were not. So my only question is, firstly, I want to question this mindset where a particular girl, suppose some crime has also been committed by that girl. Now, in order to offset that, some other crime is committed against another girl. That entire mindset, it is so shameful. It is really, really sad. It is shameful. It is barbaric, and it has no place in civilized society. And it's very unfortunate because I have seen several people, even on Twitter and on other social media sites, actually supporting the violence by citing exactly this, that they did this to the community, so we did that to the other community. I think this kind of a mindset needs to be questioned firstly and needs to be condemned in the strongest words possible. At the same time, you see all these videos that are circulated, they can trigger especially survivors. You see, that's why even I did not circulate even the blurred form of the video, because I deal with survivors. And I know that people who have gone through sexual violence can be really, really traumatized by something like that. And also, we should never do something like that, because we should not reveal the identity of the survivors. So while action should be taken that, such kind of videos should not be circulated, but we also have to remember, whatever action has happened, whatever attention Manipur has got, is only through the circulation of this one video, because otherwise nobody was taking any cognizance. And where leaders fail, it is very unfortunate that viral videos seem to work.
All right, Swati, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, and thank you so much for sharing your views. On that note, it's time for me to slip into a very short break here in Viewpoint. More coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
Let's also now bring in our colleague Arunima, who in fact has also been trying to piece the sequence of events together to try and understand the inaction and part of various authorities, the state government as well as police authorities. Arunima, there are no words. It's shameful, it's disgraceful. There is no action that has happened. So the larger question is, will these victims and their families ever get justice? If you try and put the sequence of events together, the episode happens on the 4th of May, but the FIR is only registered on the 18th. So there is almost a 15-day delay there itself. You've been speaking to a lot of officials. Have they been able to explain the delay or why the FIR was registered only on the 18th?
Well, the explanation is there in the FIR itself. If you see, the zero FIR was registered on the 18th, which means the Thana in which the FIR is lodged is not the Thana concerned. Jurisdictional issue means that they can't investigate the matter. So the actual probe, the actual FIR in the designated Thana, designated police station actually begins on the 21st. So from 4th to 21st, crucial 17 days are gone already. If you see the FIR, it says because of the communal and ethnic tension, the complainant was unable to reach the Thana earlier and tell the police about what exactly had happened. And even in that case, the complainant is not the victim, not the immediate family members or next of kin. It is one of the village heads who has gone and told the police that this is what he saw. This is what people in the village have told him. And the sequence of event is this, that this village was attacked. It was burned down completely. These 5 members, the brother, the father of the younger victim, the older woman and another victim. So 5 of them managed to escape, hide in the forest. Police, now this is where 2 versions are. Police party was definitely present there. The victims have told some media outlets that they thought police abandoned them, handed them over to the mob. Police said that the mob snatched them away. So when I asked the top officials of the Manipur police what action against these cops, we were told that matter can be taken care of later. The immediate priority is to get hold of the accused. One suspect arrested. They are very confident that in the next 24 hours, more could.
Arunima, we'll just request you to stay on with us, because as we pointed out, this episode that has come to light is not the only unfortunate episode that has happened. We've been able to put together a sequence of events of what we know so far, or what are the kind of horrors that have played out in Manipur over the last few months. And this is a compilation that we've been able to do based on various news reports. What we're understanding now is over 160 people have lost their lives or have been killed in Manipur over the last few months. We're also understanding over 60,000 people have also been displaced because of the unrest that continues in Manipur. 50,000 plus lodged in about 349 relief camps. As I pointed out, what essentially started as clashes between 2 ethnic groups. This is the kind of turn it has now taken. Nearly 5,000 arson incidents have also been reported just in the last few months. 5,995 FIRs have been registered so far over these multiple episodes. Over 180 arrests have been made, and this is data available till the 4th of July. What we're also understanding is out of these people, over 100 have already gotten bail, and the data again dates back to about 4th of July. 124 para convoys have been deployed on the ground to try and contain the situation, to try and restore normalcy in Manipur. 184 army columns have also been stationed, as I pointed out, to ensure that no untoward incident takes place. We're also understanding there are 60,000 central security forces that have been posted as well. Despite all of this, episodes like these still continue. And we here at CNN News 18, in fact, have accessed those first images of that only arrest that has been made of a man who's now been identified as Hira Das, and those images on your screens as well. But as I pointed out, what is extremely shocking is the sequence of events and how slow the action has been. Let's first bring in our colleague and senior editor Pallavi Ghosh, who is joining us on the broadcast. So Pallavi, the episode happened on the 4th of May. Video comes to light on the 19th of July. Within 24 hours, an arrest is made. It's already been over 2 months. We've accessed the first images of the man who's been arrested, now identified as Hira Das. What more do we know about the man who's been arrested?
Well, he's just the one who leaded the pack. If you in fact look at the video which was leaked out last night, he was the one who was right at the front, and he was the one who was groping one of the 2 women who are believed to have been abused. And that's the main reason why he's been called the chief culprit. It is also believed that he's the person who could have masterminded or organized an entire strategy, because now more or less the agencies are convinced that it was a kind of a coordinated strategy, and therefore it was not just an impromptu mob which actually surrounded these 2 women, for example. That's really the critical factor. There are a couple of questions which certainly come up. Or can this be seen as an intelligence failure of the state government, that they were not able to be aware of this incident till that video surfaced? So what kind of a hands-on situation are they having? And that's where he's coming for a bit of criticism as far as the opposition parties go. But having said that, what is it that the state agencies and the central government agencies are doing? Well, they are working in a coordinated manner. Ever since this footage came out, we are being told by our government sources that the nodal ministries, the Home Ministry, the Prime Minister's office, in coordination with the state government, is trying to track down all those people who were a part of that mob. And with his first arrest, they feel that there is a breakthrough, because they're going to use him, they're going to interrogate him, and also to try and get the addresses and the whereabouts of the others who were a part of that mob frenzy.
Yeah. Pallavi, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us those details. One arrest has been made, but the arrest has come too late in the day. Let's just break down the details of what are the kind of horrors that have played out over the last few months in Manipur. Let's first break down the sequence of events for you to understand the story better. This episode, the video that you must...
Welcome back. You're watching Viewpoint with me, Griha, and we are now getting some breaking news here on the broadcast. And this one is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive, as it gives more information about a major ISIS crackdown in the state of Jharkhand this time. Major attack has been averted in Jharkhand. The National Investigation Agency has averted an ISIS operative after extensive searches in both Jharkhand and the state of Uttar Pradesh. The accused, who goes by the name Faizan Ansari, is a student of Aligarh Muslim University and has now been taken into custody. So this is what we are learning. In fact, we've been told that Faizan had hatched a criminal conspiracy along with his associates and other individuals through social media platforms with an intent to support ISIS activities in India. My colleague Saurav is joining me on the broadcast for more input. Saurav, I believe there are some devices and incriminating documents that have been seized from Faizan Ansari. Also, that he was in constant touch with his handlers who are based outside of India. What are you learning vis-a-vis that?
See, first I will tell you about Faizan Ansari, who is a 19-year-old youth, and he did his education in Lohardaга's Vidya Mandir school, and after that he went to Ranchi's St. Xavier College.
Okay.
And from there, for higher education, he went to Aligarh Muslim University, where he met some youths who were inclined towards ISIS, and also through dark web and social media, he came in contact with the ISIS handlers abroad. So after that, he was radicalized, and then this process of getting motivated from ISIS began, and just 2 months back he came back to Lohardaga, and the NIA and other central agencies found his lead about the conversation and the social media usage of Faizan Ansari, and after that, on 16th and 17th July, NIA had conducted a search operation at his house in Lohardaga as well as the rented room there in Aligarh. And after getting strong evidence, incriminating materials documents were found, mobiles and laptops were found in which several leads were found, and only after that today the NIA has arrested accused Faizan Ansari. Remember, Faizan had a criminal conspiracy along with his associates
Absolutely.
and other unknown individuals.
Right, Saurav, thank you so much for all of that information. We'll keep an eye on this story. Thank you so much for giving us that breaking piece of information that's coming out of the state of Jharkhand. With that, it's a wrap from my side on Viewpoint. My colleague Shivani is up next with Plain Speak. Stay tuned.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The horrific video of two women not only being paraded naked by a horde of men in Manipur, but also being assaulted and allegedly gang raped has shaken the country. The incident happened in the first week of May, but came to light only yesterday as the video went viral